former Secretary of State Brian Kemp will be certified as the victor in the 2018 gubernatorial election. This is not a speech of concession.
The Senate race in Florida is still dragging on, though. Hand recounts of some ballots are continuing across the state.
President Trump says he's answered those questions from special counsel Robert Mueller.
I've answered them very easily. You have to always be careful when you answer questions with people that probably have bad intentions.
Nancy Pelosi keeping her friends close and her potential enemies a bit closer.
There's a great deal of hope and excitement about the fact that there could be new leadership.
The administration believes this caravan will be followed by many more. More are expected here tomorrow, potentially up to 5,000 people.
We'll have rules of decorum. Nobody believes in the First Amendment more than I do.
He loves to be able to speak directly to the American people. At the same time, those individuals can't be disruptive.
We honor the recipients of our nation's highest civilian honor, the Presidential Medal of Freedom. The king of rock and roll, Elvis Aaron.
I come and dance.
We built this show on rock and roll. The king of rock and roll.
Did we?
Honored yesterday.
You're right.
That's right.
You got the Medal of Freedom.
Absolutely.
Very true. I'm drinking tea this morning. I've got the crud that the rest of America has. It's not coffee, it's tea. It's sad.
Boy, I'm going to be really sad if you have to leave the show early.
Maybe. I might have to. But Jedediah is not leaving.
I'm not going anywhere, so you better watch
I haven't
out.
seen you since we went skydiving at Chicken Hut.
I
You didn't show
know.
up.
I'm a little disappointed. I thought you guys were going to
leave it to this guy to
I thought you were going to zip line me in or something fun, but you know.
Just wait.
It's all right.
Just wait till
It gets
tomorrow's
pretty
show.
standard after a while.
Oh, man.
I will say this, though. I was disappointed this morning. You know, Thanksgiving's my favorite holiday. My absolute favorite holiday. I got a package in my office this morning from PETA. I don't know how I got on PETA's list. Happy Tofurkey Day. Ain't gonna happen.
No wonder you're in a sour mood.
chance.
Now I get it.
You know, I mean.
I've made a good tofurkey now and again.
Really?
Yeah, I have. I do the
I just
adopted
don't know
turkey
how I
program.
got. I just don't know how I got on PETA's
I'm
mailing
hearing-
list.
We just talked to a chef. We got John McLemore here.
Yeah.
Dot com, that's good. He's making a special batch of tofurkey. At least we're trying for you. Let's see if we can make that happen.
PETA, save your package next year.
I'll take his
By the
turkey and
way,
you can have the tofu.
Guys, did you hear? I think maybe the midterm election is coming up Tuesday. I keep hearing these candidates. They're not conceding.
It's not over yet, is it?
Is it not
never
over?
gonna
I thought it was over like 2 weeks ago. Now, overnight, breaking. Stacey Abrams, you see her right there, the Democratic nominee for governor in Georgia. She holds an event where she's giving a quote-unquote concession speech.
Yes.
But then, Pete, she said, I'm not conceding.
Wait, a concession speech without a concession. Listen to Stacey Abrams yesterday.
To watch an elected official who claims to represent the people in this state baldly pin his hopes for election on the suppression of the people's democratic right to vote has been truly appalling. So let's be clear. This is not a speech of concession. Because concession means to acknowledge an action is right, true, or proper. More than 1 million citizens found their names stripped from the rolls by the Secretary of State. We will be filing a major federal lawsuit against the state of Georgia.
Whoa.
Wow, this is the new mantra of the Democrats, it seems, that when they lose an election, it's they cheated, they stole it. And this has been going on. Who set the precedent for that? That was Hillary Clinton originally who set the precedent for that.
Has she conceded, really?
I don't, not quite yet. And every time she does say, oh, I lost the election, it's like, yeah, but it was stolen from me. Now
you're talking about
Hillary
Clinton.
I'm still talking about Hillary. I don't even have time to get to Stacey Abrams. I'm still on Hillary Clinton.
By
But
the
yeah,
way,
this is the new trend,
That's Brian Kemp on the right. He's the Republican nominee who's all but certain to be the next governor of Georgia. He has a news conference this morning about 10 a.m. Eastern time.
Because he won.
Yeah, exactly. I feel like that voice is of someone who's angry, but also feels entitled to that seat. I mean, when you have Oprah, Michael B. Jordan, Will Ferrell, Mark Ruffalo, rapper Common, Rashida Jones, John Legend, and a bunch of other celebrities, I don't know who they are, come to your state and campaign for you, and you just think the wave's going to take you in, and then it doesn't happen, you're
saying that
you're
celebrities
frustrated about
didn't
that.
convince people to vote for someone?
Shockingly. And I think she's as shocked as anyone else by that fact.
Yeah, and so are the celebrities, by the way, who think that they're all powerful.
And we're
that every
joking
time
about
they
it,
do
but this is
doesn't
serious business because remember,
it's a real problem.
Way back in the 2016 campaign, at the end there, when then candidate Donald Trump was asked, will you accept the results? And he didn't quite answer it the way the mainstream media wanted, and people said this is dangerous stuff. Here you have candidates refusing to concede. Newt Gingrich said this is dangerous business. Watch.
You have a whole series of Democrats who've just said bluntly, if our candidate doesn't win, they stole the election. Now, they have no proof of it, but they have a whole model now, whether it's yelling racist or whatever it is, where if they smear you enough, this is the Kavanaugh model repeated over and over again. So Georgia, they want to set up Stacey Abrams so she'll be the person who had the election stolen from her. So for the next 4 years, she can run for governor as the person who should have been governor, except it was stolen from her. If you don't let the Democrat winning, then you're cheating, and it's been stolen because you're not allowed to win. They're supposed to win.
Not enough recount to happen so that the Democrat wins, so that it's a stolen election, as you said.
Yep.
But this is not the only place. So, we pointed out this was supposed to be a big blue wave. The Democrats did well in the House, and they picked up additional seats since Election Day. But when it came to the big stars, the big races, the places where they were going to plant their flag, they didn't actually win. So you've got Stacey Abrams in Georgia, Andrew Gillum, who also has yet to concede, by the way, has everyone acknowledges
basically
lost the Florida governor's race, and then you've got Beto O'Rourke, who lost the Texas Senate race, although he has been taking a run around the mall in Washington D.C. and everyone wants to read into that. I mean, so they're still finding ways to hold these folks up as the future of the Democratic Party, but you can't ignore the reality of Election Day that they all lost.
As Newt said, Stacey Abrams lose the governor's race. All of a sudden, people are saying, well, maybe she'll run for the Senate in 2 years. Beto O'Rourke loses a Senate race, but people in the Democratic Party are saying, maybe he'll run for president in 2 years. And quickly, look at this. Stacey Abrams, she lost, by my count, in the New York Times this morning, 58,000 votes. Gillum losing right now by 33,000 votes. Guess who lost by 30,000 votes? Scott Walker, the Republican governor of Wisconsin. And on election night, he lost by a smaller margin than those two Democrats. In Wisconsin, the sitting governor, if anyone was going to try to rig something, he could have done it as a sitting governor. And he just said, I lost.
It's just such disrespect to the democratic process and to all the voters who did go out and vote. Listen, Democrats, if you want to win elections, you got to get out there. You make your case. You want to bring in all the celebrities you want. Great. If you win, fine. Then it's the responsibility of Republicans to respect your win. But if you lose, it's your responsibility to gracefully exit the stage, concede, and move on. This is not you can't just run, for election and then lose and blame the other party all the time. It's ridiculous.
She just did. And her vote count flipped against her, and she conceded. But Ed, I like your point about when Trump said he might, we'll see what happens with the election. They went crazy preemptively. Yeah. They're not doing the same thing to Democrats who have lost in this cycle.
All right.
Well, now to Florida, where the manual recount enters its second day.
Incumbent Democratic Senator Bill Nelson's chances of holding on to his seat slipping away as the Republican challenger, sitting Governor Rick Scott, continues to secure his lead.
Griff Jenkins is live at Broward County, where hand-counted votes have been completed. Griff?
Good morning, guys. Bill Nelson has a serious math problem in Broward County. You're seeing volunteers behind me. They're heading in for a second day of recounting. Here's a camera. Let me take you inside where they're getting ready for the recount. Now, the recount in the Senate race is over. It ended in almost 2 hours, very quickly. And of the nearly 31,000 over and under votes, meaning they either marked too much or too little, only 447 of them were even considered by the canvassing board, meaning the margin that Nelson stood to gain was less than 500, and in a 12,500 margin deficit, that is a serious problem for Senator Nelson in the area, Broward County, where Nelson's attorneys admitted was their last best hope to turn this race around. Now, I also should point out the agricultural race here, which is only of interest to Florida voters, is going to happen here in a few hours. We'll find out what that is. We may get more on the actual numbers of the Nelson Scott race later today, but the election supervisor here, Brenda Snipes, is, of course, getting a lot of accusations still and under a lot of scrutiny. I asked her yesterday how things are going. Here's what she had to say.
Things are going as we planned it. We have all these people here, and they are willing to stay until we get it all done.
Are you pleased that you got the hand count at least sorted early?
Sure.
Yeah, same setup as the...
Absolutely.
Now, we'll find out those official numbers. The deadline is 12 noon on Sunday for reporting, but we think we'll get a better idea here in a few hours, guys. Let you know how that Nelson Scott numbers turned out.
All right, Griff, we'll be getting back to you throughout the show. Thank you.
Appreciate it. I'll sum it up. Nelson's going to lose, and lawyers are getting paid.
And Brenda Snipes should not have a job there right now. How she has a job is a miracle.
All right. Meanwhile, with Scott likely to win there in Florida, it looks like the majority for Republicans in the Senate will be something like 53 votes, a win for the president. He lost the House, as we noted. So what do the Democrats want to do? they ran on, we're told, the economy and healthcare, all these important kitchen table issues. The first thing they talked about after winning the House was investigating the president, some 85 subpoenas. The second thing, look at the Washington Post. They want to raise your taxes. Democrats face early division over rules for tax hikes. Here's what the story says. There's a GOP rule that requires a 3/5 supermajority vote in the House to approve any income tax increase. Democratic leaders would replace it with a rule requiring a supermajority vote to approve tax hikes for most taxpayers, but only a simple majority vote to raise taxes for the wealthiest 20% or for corporations. So here they are, guys, in a rush. What do they want to do right away? Investigate the president and get some more of your money.
Are you surprised? Listen, because all those other things that they talk about, like health care and, you know, there's rainbows and unicorns for everyone and a big pot of gold at the end of the rainbow. Yes. You got to pay for that somehow. And who's going to pay for that?
Gold is coming from tax hikes.
You got to tax people.
And they're already split, though, Jedediah. This is the Democratic leadership proposal. The new progressives that got elected, like the Ed's favorite socialist in the Bronx, Ilhan Omar, others, they want more than this. They're angry at the leadership because they're saying it shouldn't be a supermajority to raising taxes. It should be a simple majority for any tax raise, not just the 20% and not just the corporations. They want to raise your taxes. That is their platform.
Rally after rally, the president warned this was going to happen. He said, you put the Democrats in charge, they're going to raise your taxes. Guess what, folks? Their
caucus has a serious problem. They've got a new left-wing rabid base that's coming in that's going to drag them further left, and they're going to keep doing radical things. So what do you think? Surprised
Democrats want to raise your taxes immediately? I think
I'm shocked.
Friends at FoxNews.com.
Let us know.
We are turning now to your headlines. President Trump is heading to California today to visit victims of the devastating wildfires. At least 74 people are dead, 71 alone in the North's Camp Fire. More than 1,000 others are still missing. Residents are now facing a new threat as hazardous smoke is smothering the state. Millions of people are forced to wear masks amid the dirtiest air quality levels in the world. In Southern California, more evacuees are returning home. The man who tried to assassinate President Reagan is now allowed to live on his own. A federal judge granting John Hinckley Jr. the most freedom he's had since shooting President Reagan and 3 others in 1981. He was found not guilty by reason of insanity. He's been living with his elderly mother in Williamsburg, Virginia. Hinckley will be able to live alone in the area with restrictions. And President Trump awards 7 people with America's highest civilian honor. One of those honorees, Minnesota Supreme Court Justice Alan Page. He was recognized for his NFL career and a lifetime of public service. Other honorees included Elvis Presley, Babe Ruth, and the late Supreme Court Justice Antonin Scalia. And those are your headlines.
It's funny when the president was saying to Mrs. Scalia, his widow, you know, you had a lot of kids.
That was great.
You guys were busy.
I knew I liked that guy.
Classic Trump. Classic Trump.
And Alan Page, former Minnesota Viking.
President Trump tweeting about the incoming migrant caravan, saying, quote, "Isn't it ironic that large caravans of people are marching to our border wanting U.S. asylum because they are fearful of being in their country, yet they are proudly waving their country's flag? Can this be possible? Yes, because it is all a big con and the American taxpayer is paying for it."
This coming as migrants are increasingly adopting a new strategy to gain asylum, bringing their families. Here with more, Jessica Vaughn, Director of Policy Studies at the Center for Immigration Studies. Jessica, thanks for joining us this morning. So first of all, if you would, speak to the irony the president is pointing out. You want to come to America, yet you're holding up the flag of your country. What does that say to you about their intentions?
Or oppression, that what they're opportunists. They've heard that they will be able to get into the United States, especially if they bring a child, and they want to take advantage of that opportunity. And that's what this caravan is all about. Now, the caravan organizers want to make a point about open borders, but the people who are coming here have been told that they will be allowed in. And that's what they want to do. They know that they don't even have to file their asylum claim if they're let in. They don't have to show up for their court hearing. They just want to get into the country and settle and make a new life here and just abandon their home country.
Now, in October, the number of apprehended families hit a monthly high of 23,000, actually. We have you the graphic. I was waiting for the graphic to pop up. What is your response to that? Are you surprised by it? And what actually, I mean, in terms of solutions, what can be done here to actually address this issue?
No, it's not surprising. And even the Obama administration told the judge who has imposed restrictions on DHS on how they handle families who arrive, saying that no kids can be detained for longer than 20 days. Even if they come with their parents, they can't be detained with their parents. The Obama administration even said this is going to cause a huge increase in the number of people coming here with kids, using kids as a deportation shield. And that's exactly what has happened. As long as we keep this catch and release policy in place based on what even a bogus claim of asylum, people are going to keep coming.
Yeah.
What we need to do is simply not accept people in when we know that their claims for asylum are likely to be bogus. We want to help real asylum seekers.
Sure.
We're going to have to do something different, perhaps process them before they get to the border in Mexico, or we're going to have to emphasize that they have come through a safe country, Mexico, which has offered them asylum and jobs and help, that they should seek asylum there, that we have no obligation to just let in people who show up on our doorstep. And the president needs to hold the line on this, but ultimately Congress is going to have to change our law to clarify how we handle cases like this and make it possible for the federal agencies to say no.
Jessica, I mean, the word is out, though. I mean, coming with a family, coming with kids is clearly the way migrants have determined is most effective. Look at these statistics between 2013 and this year. So 114,000 migrant families came in 2013, over 100,000 in, 14,000 in 2013, over 100,000 in 2018. So you talk about Congress. If Congress won't act, what can be done to dissuade this approach from being used?
Well, the first thing is that we need to harden off the border, as has happened, and that's a good silver lining for this, because people are going to find it much tougher to enter illegally. Because, you know, with this caravan, they're not going to be happy, you know, waiting for months in Mexico for us to take a trickle of asylum seekers. They're going to try to get in illegally. But in the meantime, what we need to do is say it's not enough to simply express a fear of return, however bogus that may be. That's not going to be enough to get into the United States. We're going to have to find another way to process people immediately and start sending people home who don't qualify, because that's the only thing that's going to dissuade people is if others are not successful.
You're right. Jessica Vaughn, Director of Policy Studies at the Center for Immigration Studies. Thank you for your time
Jessica.
this morning. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
All right, well, coming up, if James Comey thought he was in the clear over his handling of the Hillary Clinton email case, he might want to think again. Why the former FBI director could be headed back to Capitol Hill.
Plus, Stacey Abrams and Andrew Gillum, two Democrats refusing to accept their losses. But what if these were Republicans that wouldn't bow out? We'll debate that next.
Welcome back. Couple of quick headlines for you. James Comey is challenging House Republicans to hold a public hearing if they subpoena him. The House Judiciary Committee wants him to testify before Democrats take control of the House, according to The Hill. They want to question the fired FBI director on his decision-making during the 2016 campaign. We'll see what happens there. And a second story, Congresswoman Mia Love may end up back in Washington. The Utah Republican taking the lead in her House race, with votes still being counted. Love now leading her Democratic challenger by a very thin margin of 419 votes. More news to come there.
Yeah,
Ed,
what a comeback that would be. We'll see. Multiple Democratic candidates, meanwhile, refusing to accept the midterm election results, like Georgia gubernatorial candidate Stacey Abrams, who says she's not conceding to the GOP winner. You see him there on the right, Brian Kemp. And in Florida, Democrat Andrew Gillum refusing to concede the governor's race there to Ron DeSantis, who's ahead by over 30,000 votes. So what if these were Republicans refusing to concede? Here for a debate, Republican strategist Holly Turner and Democratic strategist Robin Byro. Good morning, both of you.
Good morning.
So let me put that question to you there, Holly. If Republicans in key races were refusing to concede, what do you think the mainstream media would be saying this morning?
Well, we already know what they'd be saying because they speculated that Donald Trump would do just that in 2016, and they were outraged at the possibility of him not accepting the election results. So we know that they would be very upset, and it would be quite the spectacle. They already gave us a preview of this. And that, you know, the thing that upsets me about this situation is that the sense of entitlement that these candidates have. These seats belong to the American people, and the voters have spoken. And I think, you know, maybe that blue wave that we were all promised. They thought they had already won before the election even happened, and now they feel like something was taken from them. But the reality is that we can't predict what's going to happen in these races, and we have to wait until Election Day. And once the people have spoken, it's done.
Robin, what about that? You'll remember late in the 2016 campaign, as Holly mentions, when Donald Trump as a candidate just said, we'll see what happens. He didn't say he wouldn't accept the results or would, but I recall him saying something like, we'll see what happens. The mainstream media went crazy. Sure. Here we are more than a week after the election, and some key Democrats in Georgia and Florida still not accepting reality.
Ed, you know, I understand your point, and if the roles were reversed and there were a Democratic Secretary of State who literally tried to throw out and purged 180,000 voters from conservative districts, I would expect for Republicans to be up in arms and saying basically the same thing that Leader Abrams did, that, you know, hey, I'm going to pray that he has a successful governorship, but this is tantamount to voter suppression. I get it. You know, this is very unusual territory that we're in. And, you know, in Florida, when the Republicans sued to not count 30,000 provisional ballots from heavy Dem districts, I understand their outrage. And if the roles were reversed, I would expect the same outrage from Republicans. It would be deserved.
Great. Tight on time. I want to give you each 30 seconds. Holly, answer that serious question. Voter suppression, at least allegations of it, is very serious. In Georgia, Democrats have said that there were really long lines, names were taken off voting rolls. Answer that, please.
That is not voter suppression. I mean, there's nowhere in the Constitution that says that there has to be a certain time limit, that people can only wait a certain length of time before they vote. And listen, cleaning the rolls, that's the Secretary of State's job. Every state does that. It's to help Election Day and to make sure that there is integrity in our elections.
And Robin, last point here. I heard Democrats in the mantra in the last week or so, count all the votes. Now that they've been counted in these key states, time to move on?
It is time to move on, and Leader Abrams has vowed that she will make sure that she'll fight voter suppression. 30 seconds, real quick. I was a poll watcher for all of precincts in Fulton County, and I definitely saw, like in the African-American districts where there were only 3 voting machines, and in the heavy conservative districts, there were 20 machines with only 3 voters.
Job.
So I
think
it's
the county's
a problem.
job.
All right, Robin and Holly, we appreciate you both coming in. We appreciate you volunteering there as well, Robin. Everybody should do that. Everybody who wants to vote should be able to vote. Democrat, Republican, Independent.
Absolutely.
Appreciate you coming in. Nancy Pelosi is confident she'll be Speaker of the House, but members of her own party, they're calling for change.
Sometimes you just need a different voice. Sometimes you just need a different kind of a vision.
Well, this morning, the list of Democrats opposing Pelosi, it's growing. So is change in the air? Well,
I'm a master legislator. I am a strategic, politically astute leader.
What is your level of confidence that you'll be the Speaker of the House?
Total.
100%?
100%, yeah. I feel very confident about where I am, and I feel very encouraged by an overwhelming support in my caucus that will go to the floor.
Wow, that is Nancy Pelosi sounding very confident. Some Democrats may disagree. Lots of potential challenges coming up. We have Tomi Lahren here, Fox Nation host, ready to talk to us about it. Tomi, what do you think about that? Should she be as confident as she is right now?
I think she should, because I think at the end of the day, the Democrats are going to fall in line just as they always do. You know, she talks about being a chief legislator. What she really is a chief fundraiser for the Democratic Party. So those that are talking about challenging her, that want to get the headlines by challenging the almighty Nancy Pelosi, at the end of the day, money talks. I'm pretty confident that she's going to be the next speaker. And you know what? Guess what? That's good for us on the Republican side, because the more Nancy talks, the more we're excited about 2020.
Yeah, Tomi, that may be why President Trump tweeted the other day that he will help deliver the votes to make sure she is Speaker. We don't know a lot about Marcia Fudge. She's an African-American woman from Ohio. She's been in the Congress for a bit, prominent member of the Black Caucus. And here's how she put it in terms of putting a new face on the leadership. Watch.
There's a great deal of hope and excitement about the fact that there could be new leadership. You know, I'm a big football fan, even though I'm from Cleveland and people laugh and tease me because I'm a Browns fan. But the Browns have the same team today that they had 3 weeks ago. We changed coaches, and they started to win. Same people. Sometimes you just need a different voice. Sometimes you just need a different kind of a vision.
Tommy, I don't know if you're an NFL fan or not, but the bottom line is the Browns of Cleveland did get a new coach. Since then, I think their record is 1-1, so it's mixed. But the point is, over the last 3 years, they've lost 95% of their games. Is this the best analogy for Democrats right now?
You know, I don't know about that, but I do know that they talk about having a new voice, but they don't have a new voice or a new vision. Yes, they have others within the Democratic Party that would like to gain a leadership role, that would like to be in a leadership position, but what is their vision? Because I still haven't heard it. All it is anti-Trump and raise your taxes. That's not really a vision. So they can talk about trying to come up and challenge Nancy Pelosi all they want. I certainly don't think Nancy Pelosi is going to be a great leader for the Democratic Party, but honestly, they have nothing else. What do they have? Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez? Is that the new face of the Democratic Party? Either way, you shake it up. Still looks bad for the Democrats.
Yeah, same deck of cards. Tommy, I got to ask you this morning, though, because Fox Nation launches in 10 days, something you're excited about, I'm excited about, and folks still have an opportunity in those 10 days to become a founding member, to sign up for a 1-year subscription or a 3-year subscription. Now, part of that is a very cool watch that comes with it, a tactical watch for Fox Nation. You should get one.
I may get one of those.
I wore one once, but I don't own one. They're cool. But, Tommy, you had a chance to check out, go behind the scenes on where those watches are made. We're going to toss to it and then have you react. Watch this.
Hi guys, I'm here at MTM Watches in Los Angeles, California. This is where they make our Fox Nation Founders watches, so let's go check it out.
Hey, Tommy.
Hello.
How you doing?
Nice to meet you, and you are?
Nice to meet you. I'm Jason.
Here in Los Angeles, California, this is where you guys make our Fox Nation Founders watches.
That's right.
So we better go check it out. I want to see how they're made.
Check it out.
Let's do it.
The Fox Nation watch is built on our Patriot watch, which is basically one of the cornerstones of our line.
So walk me through this. What do we have here?
Yeah, so this is the solid titanium case. This is our carbon fiber Fox Nation dial. This is one of the specific custom features that we've got, is the founder logo engraved on it.
I want to be a part of this process for our Fox Nation viewers, so I want to actually engrave founder on here myself.
You're going to do it.
So one of these watches for our founders is going to be made by none other than their favorite Fox Nation host, Tomi Lahren. All right, a lot of pressure.
Hit it.
And there it is, Fox Nation Founder.
This is where we actually do the assembly of the dial and the hand components, and you can see how much detailed work is required to get this right. These are the final watches, ready to box up and send out.
Ready to send out to our Fox Nation founders.
Cool stuff.
Wow,
Tommy.
the case is pretty cool, too. I need one of those.
No, it was a great time. It's right here in Los Angeles, California, so a lot of people that are looking to sign up for this and are wondering where these are from, right here in Los Angeles, we visited these people. Not only are they really high quality, but they're one of a kind, and they're made right here in the United States of America, in California, and they're great people.
Oh.
Good stuff.
Well, thank you, Tommy.
Website is
much.
foxnation.com. You can still sign up. You get great opinion done right. Tommy, you've been a huge part of it. Looking forward to it.
Good
luck, Tommy. And there you go.
And the watch.
She got the watch.
It's very nice.
Thanks, Tommy.
Thanks, Tommy.
We are turning now to your headlines. The Supreme Court is agreeing to hear whether or not a citizenship question should be added to the 2020 census. They'll listen to arguments on February 19th from more than 24 states, cities, and activist groups who are suing to get it removed. They believe immigrants will be too scared to answer the question, which will skew numbers and could affect the amount of federal money they get. Nearly 40,000 Ford and Lincoln SUVs are recalled because of safety issues. They include select 2018 Ford Explorers, 2018 Ford Expeditions, 2018 Lincoln Navigators, 2019 Ford Super Duties, and 2019 Lincoln Nautilus vehicles. Problems range from fuel leaks, transmission issues, and faulty airbags. Wow. Ford says they aren't aware of any injuries from the recalls. High school students at one school are forbidden from wearing designer winter coats. The London school banned Canada Goose, Montclair, and other high-end brands from campus. The move is an effort to, quote, poverty-proof the school so disadvantaged students don't feel pressure to keep up. The blacklisted coats can cost thousands of dollars. And those are your headlines. Thousands of dollars, wow.
Whoa.
I don't have a
That's
coat
a lot of
that's
money for a
thousands of
coat.
dollars, I'll tell you that.
Rick, is that
Rick's
suit
pretty
worth thousands of dollars?
Well, speaking of
It
suits,
looks it, I'll tell you that.
let me ask you, because I think we're all wearing the same suit.
Pretty much.
I think we are.
Not all, Rick.
That's
Not
where
all.
they call it a uniform.
We're in the Fox and Friends uniform.
I should have worn
There
it.
you go.
Oh my gosh, I missed the red time. I'm going to be in trouble. All right, it is really cold across the far northern plains. Obviously, a lot of weather happened this week. We have the incredible fire conditions, which are getting better in California the next couple of days. In fact, we have rain coming by the time we get towards Wednesday, which is going to be great news. And we had the big storm across much of the east. A lot of that is melting because temps are certainly above average. Across the East Coast, we're looking really, really good for this weekend. In fact, probably about the next 4 to 5 days, if you are thinking about traveling, things are going to be good. Apologize for this quick move. I didn't put a pause there. Sorry about that. A little bit of snow moving across parts of the Rockies as well. I'll fix that for later on. Here's your temps today. Really cold across the far northern plains. 16 for a high. You warm up a little bit for tomorrow. And a quick look ahead to Wednesday. This is Wednesday. I don't think we're going to have any travel problems. Maybe Houston Airport with a little bit of rain there and that really beneficial rain coming in across parts of the West Coast. But overall, Wednesday, big travel day. Looking good. I see you, Jedediah.
Yes.
Leaning in. I'm
Well, you
trying to
heard it
see
here.
what's going
Rick
on.
said no travel problems for
It's true.
anybody.
Well,
so.
listen, I mean, if you are a bad traveler, I can't control that. But, you know,
That is
yeah,
true.
weather-wise, you should be all right.
All right, thanks, brother. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
All right, well, President Trump, he's got a new warning for the press.
Act with respect. You're in the White House. We always have the option of just leaving. People aren't being treated properly. We always have the right to leave.
Sounds good to me. Corey Lewandowski here to react next hour.
Plus, how would you like a guaranteed job?
Oh, boy.
A handful of 2020 Democratic hope.
Careful, folks. This segment may trigger you. Some 2020 hopefuls are backing a plan that would guarantee all Americans jobs.
The plan would pay a minimum nearly $12 an hour. But is this a realistic option or more like a dangerous fantasy?
Here to react, business and finance chair at the King's College, Brian Brenberg. Good morning, sir.
Good to be here.
So, first of all, explain how would this actually work?